Okay, so we were talking earlier, you're an OG, right? You've been around for a while. But when you were coming up, there wasn't social media. You didn't have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these ways that people are connected. How is that changing what's happening in terms of gang recruitment and that community?
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to reach the youth because of the social media. And that's what's going on, like we say. When I grew up, man, we didn't have social media. So one thing we had was a telephone, and we're going to meet up, and we're going to hang out, and we're going to do it that way. But now, since social media, you have so much social media from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, and like I say, the guys are reaching out because it's easy. If you want to pull up anything, the only thing you have to do is Google it now. And so a lot of guys Googling false information, and they're following false information.
Like what?
For instance, the game. A lot of these kids in the games don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they're representing, what the games were built upon. See, the games were never built against each other. The games were never built against each other. The games was to stop the crime coming into the neighborhood. And see, that's what our organization is about, B.C.F. We're about preventing crime in the neighborhood. There's no race thing. It's not a Black Lives Matter. It's all lives matter. Stop the violence, all lives matter. That's what we're about. And I started the organization reaching out to some of the Blair members, the OgKK members, and the OgKK members that I knew. We brought it together. And, right now we about B.C.F. probably about 10 states strong.
Okay. So tell me about that change. Because you were talking about what gangs started out as originally and versus what they are today. And you said a lot of young people don't even understand what they're in. What do they think they're in versus what they're actually in? What do you think they think they're in?
They're really in the facade. They're really in the facade. Like I said, it's a lot to do with social media because they find a lot of the entertainment, a lot of the rappers. So like the OGs, who they call the OGs, when they would say be the OGs, they're not really the OGs to the kids because they're telling the kids to run in the book. You know what I mean? You don't recruit to go kill. You know what I mean? You recruit to better the community. You know what I mean? That's what we are. And that's what I try to get everybody that's around me on. Because I deal with kids from 13, 14, 15 years old, going around to facilities speaking and talking to kids who get caught murder cases and been through armed robbery cases. I deal with those kind of individuals, and I know what they're going through because I was once there. And, and if we don't get back into the community of reaching out, not being scared to approach it, you see a lot of people are scared to approach the kids nowadays because they're trying to talk at the kids instead of talking with them. You gotta talk with the kids because if you talking at them, they're not gonna respect it. They're not gonna build all.
It seems like respect is a big part of what you're teaching, and I notice it with the guys who are out there today that you brought into there. There seemed to be this very heavy sense of respect for you, but also for what they're doing, their purpose, and the mission behind what they're doing.
Yeah, that's growth and development. You know what I mean? 720 growth and development. And that's what we do. We feed the homeless every Wednesday. We do community cleanups every week. And like you said, I'm an OG, so a lot of the guys respect me because of what I done been through. They know what I done been through. And for me to be able to change my life to something positive and to be able to have a bunch of guys follow me and to understand that this is what we need to be on. And if we can sit down and work the situation out, let's talk that situation out. Let's turn the guns into briefcases. That's what I'm trying to do, turn the guns into briefcases.
What does that mean?
Put down the guns and pick up the briefcase. Stay in school.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience, what you came up through, what you've been through, what you've seen, I understand if you don't want to get too deep into what you've done in your life because you don't want people to judge you by all that, but a lot of these guys do look at you and say, you've been there and you've been in places they can't even imagine.
I done been on both sides. Like I said, I came up playing football and baseball, athletic side. My mom and dad, they kept me in the sports growing up. But as I got older, I ventured off and started doing my own thing. That's when I got into the drugs and I got into the gang life. A lot of stuff, mom didn't even know what was going on. So that's what I'm saying. You got to get into know what's going on with your child. So by the time they found out what was going on, it was too late. It was too late. So I done seen the murders. I done been around the robberies. I done been around kidnappings and everything that you can imagine. And you know, for me to be blessed to still be here to give back, because I lost a lot of friends to these streets right here on Flatstone Road. Just this street right here alone, I lost a lot of friends that's in prison and a lot of friends that's dead in the cemetery to this. It really wasn't gang violence. It was just street violence. It was just violence in the street.
Is that what you would describe this as? This girl who gets shot? Is that street violence? Is that gang violence? What would you call that?
It's a mix of both. It's a bad situation, but it's a mix of both. She was just an innocent person. You know what I mean? Walking from the store, she was coming from the store. And really, it was a mistaken identity. It was a sad situation.
You know a lot of people still in this area?
Yeah. I'm over in this area every day.
When you talk to them about this, you said it's mistaken identity. When you talk to them about this, what do they tell you? What was this supposed to have been? What was really happening?
Really, a lot of folks cried on this situation. They're not really talking about the situation, so you can't really force a person to talk about it. But it's a touchy situation, so a lot of folks don't really want to touch on it.
It's a dangerous thing to talk about.
It's a dangerous thing to talk about, so we just leave it there and say.
Why is it a dangerous thing to talk about?
Well, really because of how it all went down. You know, you walking from a bus stop and get shot over 5-6 times, you know what I mean? And nobody has any answers.
Yeah.
Nobody has any answers in the community. You know what I mean? You get the hearsays, but you know, at the end of the day, like I said, it's a real touchy situation when it comes to gang violence and certain things. It's cold that you gotta live. It's cold that you live out here in the streets.
Something that's changed over the years, the guys I talk to, they say, 10, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was different, right? Some things were settled with your fists. Some things were settled with fights. But today it's not like that anymore. When you settle things, it's with a gun. Somebody's shot. And the way that conflict is handled and the way a lot of this stuff is handled has changed. Have you seen that?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I have seen it change. But like I said, it always been guns.
Right.
You know, it just wasn't as many guns. You know what I mean?
It wasn't as quick to go to one.
It wasn't as quick to go to a gun. The guns weren't accessible to get. They weren't so easy to get. Now guns are easy to get. So, you know, like you said, a lot of kids growing up not knowing how to fight. We just used to grow up play fighting. You know what I mean? Now they don't even play fighting. You know what I mean? So, you growing up from 12 years old, you got 12 years old, by the time you're 14, you told the gun. You told the gun, so everything, his mind is blocked on everything else on life. If nobody's out there, you can say, hey, let's do this way.